Good morning. Oh, I love these headlights. So, from the exterior, my car's headlights look exactly stock. But I have since changed the light bulbs. Designed and produced. Oh, my neighbor brought out his SLS AMG. Wow. Morning.
Morning.
Enjoy the drive, huh?
Where are you going?
Genting lor.
Oh.
Standard lor. Okay, bye bye. Oh, lovely. SLS AMG. He's also a big car guy. He has went past all the the standard supercars, DB11 and all that. So now he collects these that will hold their value. SLS AMGs, 458 Speciales, 812 GTS, 911 Speedster. Yeah, these are the proper stuffs that hold their value. And yeah, lovely. Oh, he also had the 718 4-liter Spider and Aventador SVJ. Yeah, a lot. Anyway, I was talking about the headlights. No way a stock Aston Martin headlight can have this level of throw. No, it's impossible. But ever since I fitted these CSB-Pros, boom, it's really nice. Now it isn't as bright as my 6 Series, because my BMW 6 Series, there are two placements inside the headlamp cluster that I can put two projectors on each side. Even though the original BMW 6 Series F12, I'm talking about F12, F06, F11, the original ones on the normal xenon projector headlamps, the projectors on the inside are fakes. They are duds. Alright? BMW actually make fake headlight projectors on the inside just to complement the looks. Whereas if you buy the LED lights, which are very dim, by the way, the LED ones, super dim, they are useless. BMW has abandoned the design. If you look at the previous generation BMW X6 6 Series, they look really good, with the two BMW roundel, and then they have that little bar that runs across. Those are the LED headlights. Those are crap, absolutely crap. So both are real in the BMW. So anyway, when I changed my BMW headlights, mine is I upgraded to the LED headlights, but then both inside are projectors. The outside projectors are laser projectors that go far, and the inside projectors are the LED projectors that go wide. Alright, so my BMW has a beautiful light throw. Whereas this Aston Martin, there's only one, within the housing, there's only one spot for the projector headlamps, and I do not want to modify anything else. I don't want the car to look not stock, okay? But having these, so CSB-Pro fitted their top of the range, and it produces such a wonderful light throw. You see, I never glare the car in front of me. It always stays below a certain line of sight. Of course, they are professionals, right? They do their proper measurements and adjustments and all that. It makes driving, especially road trips, especially comfortable. Last year I drove to Thailand about 5,500 km round trip, and there are many times where we were driving in total darkness. You know, there are places where there are no street lamps and all that, but with a proper headlight setup, it's the best upgrade one can get. Alright, a lot of people, when they buy a car, right, they do not know what are the things out there to improve their cars, right? Traditionally, not traditionally, everybody knows that when you buy a car, the first thing you do is to apply a tint, right? Applying a good tint on your car is important, especially in tropical countries like ours. And then they do stuffs. Of course, it will of course make your car prettier when you do, you know, all the coating and all that. But what I want to say is that for around the same money as applying coating, upgrading your projectors are the best investments that you can do to your car. First of all, unlike coating, they won't go away in 2 years or 3 years, even though you have some packages that you can go back and apply them. But seriously, upgrading your headlights is a wonderful thing to do, so that you can see silly instances like these. You know, two cars that got stuck on a bottleneck, they should have gauged each other's speed, trajectory before they meet, right? And then they meet, and then they got stuck, both of them stopping. Oh my god. And usually I blame the car on the main road, because if you're the car on the main road, you have a choice of maintaining in your lane, or you can switch lane to allow the merging car to just merge. The merging car will run out of road. It is the main road, the car on the main road's responsibility to see this and either ease off their throttle or switch lanes or speed up so that they don't meet one another. Anyway, just lovely. Alright, so a shout out to CSB-Pro. I'll repeat again. C as in California, S as in Sweden, B as in Bangkok, and Pro, right? CSB-Pro. I think they do exports as well. Go inquire from them, Facebook, IG, or whatnot. Alright. Yeah. The owner, the guy who designed these lighting systems, his name is called Desmond. Fantastic chap. Very nice, very technical and humble guy. And yep, he does custom designs as well. 3D printing of parts, so that he can even design specific. You see, okay. For those of you who don't know, I tell you this: if you have the chance to take off an original manufacturer's headlamp and open it up, then you will realize that the whole thing, the whole assemble, looks like something that doesn't even cost 300 ringgit. You know, the whole thing is just plastic, thin plastic, pieced together, and an external housing, a very thin reflector inside, some black plastic bits, and that's about it. Even though they always show you pictures of the exploded images of these so-called advanced headlights, and they make it look so technical and so complicated, but most of which they're not. Alright, so, and there are a lot of brittle parts inside, made of plastics, to hold the projectors and all that, and they age with time. They get brittle, they break into pieces when somebody changes the projector light bulbs. So these things can happen. So what Desmond can do, they can scan your original headlight housing, all the parts, and he's able to manufacture metal parts, 3D printed metal parts to replace them, to hold them in place, to be able to be very sturdy, substantial build. He's able to do all that. Alright? And yep. Anyway, back to my car. This morning I struggled a bit because yesterday I took this car out, and the day before my son was asking if I can teach him driving. I was the one who threw in this idea because he is 11 years old this year, but he is almost 170 cm. Right? He's very tall, and I also know his character. He's a very soft-spoken, never gets into trouble. He's that kind of character. So I have some confidence in him for not getting into too big of a trouble. He's not the mischievous type. So that's my son. I know his character. So he is 11 years old, and he's very tall as any adults. And I was the one who threw in the idea that you should learn driving earlier, at least the fundamentals. And of course, the first thing he said, but I'm not old enough. And I was like, yeah, I know, but you're tall enough, and I can go to private parking places to give you more exposure to cars, so that you get used to it, so that you no longer get so excited about it by the time you turn 17 years old. Why? For those of you out there, try and think about it 10 years, 15 years ago, when all of you are 17, 18 years old. Do you kind of remember you always keep hearing your friends getting into an accident? When you guys are 17, 18 years old, when you first got your driver's license and all that, it's because boys being boys. Now this only applies to boys, okay? Mostly. Boys being boys, at that kind of age, we always tend to want to show our capabilities before we know, or before we have enough experience on whatever. And boys love to compete amongst each other. Who can drive faster, who reached there the fastest. It's always a boy thing, and it is actually very, very dangerous. This excitement of first time getting your driver's license, you're legal to drive, your freedom is now enshrined legally, and a lot of young boys just drive like idiots, including myself, when we were young, and then getting into trouble. Now, the good part is getting into trouble and coming out alive. So that, to me, is my biggest fear. My biggest fear is if it is through the process of growing up, right? That there are freedoms that I must give him, but I also do know that at that kind of age, friends or boys, they tend to do dumb things. Even though my son is of this character now, I can't guarantee by the time he turns 17 or 18, he wouldn't be influenced by friends or, some races, night races or whatnot. And that would be my biggest fear. So, if I could, I would want to expose him earlier to the capabilities of driving, and to have a little bit more experience, and to get a little bit jaded about not getting excited on the ability to drive, you know, so that he won't feel so hopefully, you know, by the time when he is legal, he is already sort of stable and more mature towards the idea of driving, instead of getting wow, let's do this, let's explore this, you know. Yeah, things that I can distinctly remember my friends used to do, silly stuffs. And of course, there are people who lost their lives at 17, 18 years old when they're not smart or have enough wisdom, and they're given the powers to go at speeds that they have never been before. Oh, an accident. And of course, driving a manual car would be the safer option for first-time drivers. But of course, I'm not gonna put him in the car and first thing, you know, go with the gears and the clutch and all that. No, I put him into the car, and yesterday I was driving this car, and I want him to get to the idea of knowing where the brake pedals and the throttle pedals are, and then to have the muscle memory to know how they work. Because an example, try braking with your left foot. Alright? Your first few tries will be a sudden jab, right? Braking like that. That's because we haven't trained our left foot's muscle memory to be able to brake gradually, and of course accelerate gradually. So that was my focus yesterday. And the steering action, to know how to sit, how to hold the steering, how to turn. You know, I was surprised when he told me that, oh Daddy, when you do your steering, I noticed you do the cross hand thing. That means he has been observing quietly, you know, and he did it right off first bat. He did it correctly. So I was quite surprised with that. And the second thing would be, when I put the car into reverse, then only I realized that his sense of direction when it comes to reversing, knowing how to move the steering in order to go into that direction, I was also surprised. There are so many videos of adults not knowing what to do when it comes to reversing. So that's pretty interesting. So yeah, that's why I put him through his first lesson. Okay, sorry for the long babbling. Came out today because Thomas is gonna fly off to Thomas, my colleague. Follow him on his channel, Thomas Yap. He's gonna fly off to US for a business conference, and he was like, "Oh, Bobby, can we come on and drive? You know, before I fly off." You know, so I was like, all right. Let's meet up. Yep. So I'm gonna meet him real soon. And because it's not our official Evo Club weekend drive, so I didn't go to the big petrol station there. Alright, just gonna meet him halfway and just enjoy the car. Alright, I will speak more when the sun rises up. For the time being, look at my beautiful light throw from CSB-Pro. Wonderful. Illuminates everything and super clear. Super far light throw. It doesn't glare other people as well. Alright, cheers.